Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Homestead Games. Welcome to any new subscribers that have showed up. We really appreciate you being here with us. And by us, I don't mean just me. Of course, it's me and my wife, Laura. If you want to check out her channel, she's actually doing really well. It is La Laura, Laura, and she does art. So I don't know if anybody tuning in here is an artist. She's got 35 years. I don't want to say anything like that about her age, but she's got a lot of years of art behind her, classically trained artist, and she does watercolor and she does gouache and she does mixed medium and ink and graphite, and she's just fantastic. So if you want to go check her out, I'll put a link down below to her channel so you can check it out, see how she's doing. In the meantime, I am out here doing some physical labor. I'm back out in the chicken coop, as you can see behind me. I've been working down there under that back window. If you remember, I got a video where I installed that back window. I've been working to insulate underneath there, and I have to repair some of the tongue and groove, so I'll show you what I've been working on. Okay, this is the section that I did earlier. It didn't take too long. It's a layer of thin plywood, probably 1/4 inch plywood, against the tongue and groove. Then it's a layer of insulation, that pink foam insulation, and then it's the layer of MDF on the outside. It's longer than a sheet, so I actually had to break it down, and thankfully there's a 4x4 in the middle that I was able to tap into to keep those pieces together. But let me show you what's happening with the tongue and groove on some of these other walls. Okay, this is a good example. So this tongue and groove is really old. I'm not sure how old this particular shed is, but as you can see, it's pulling away down there just from years and years and years of rot. And then on this side, we got a little hole there, a little seam, and we got a big hole here. I don't know if maybe they used this for a chicken coop once. Maybe, could be. But I had to pull that out because in order to get a sheet of plywood to lay against there, the piece they had blocking that was really thick. So I pulled that out. I've got a piece of plywood cut that we're going to put up against this area just to hold that. Back here it looks a little more solid, even though it looks a little rotted-ish. But that's okay. I'm not concerned about that because below these windows is going to be insulated, and we're going to keep those. But above them, where that window is, that top section, and of course the roof, is all going to be greenhouse plastic. So right up here, I'm going to have to do something different with that 2x4. I knew that was going to be temporary. That's why I didn't care that it was just kind of modified in there. But we're going to replace all this with some plastic panels and make this into a nice, warm, sunny greenhouse. The piece, there's a board right here kind of holding the seam together. I can only go that far, but that's okay. That's about as far as we need to go anyway. But as you can see, that'll cover it up. I'll put a couple of screws in there just to hold it in, and then I will work on the outside. That's interesting. You know what? There's a 4x4 over there that breaks it in half. This side doesn't have that. I should do something about that. I'm gonna put a 4x4 or a 2x4 in here to break this up and allow me to nail into it 8 feet 96 inches right here. Got that piece cut. There it is. Now I gotta fasten it. All right. We're only doing one layer in here because we had to put that 1/4-inch plywood in there and there's just not enough space. So we're gonna just leave it at one, which is gonna be a greenhouse anyway. It's gonna be sunny in here. It's gonna be fine. I gotta go get another big old sheet of MDF. Walk with me while I go get another sheet of plywood. I'll show you back around the back way. Lori and I were talking earlier today about the planting and thinking about what we need to eat to survive. Obviously, she said, hey, I can live on vegetables and chicken and eggs. And I'm like, that's great, but we need some bacon. We also tend to use a lot of flour. She makes homemade bread to go with our homemade butter. And I think it would be wise for us to have some wheat planted. And we have the space for it. If you look at that, our garden right now, that's about 10,500 square feet of garden, but we still have all the rest of this. Now, we do have a leach field right back through here, so I don't want to plant over that. But we can come back this way and we could put another, I don't know, maybe 8,000 square feet just in that section from there all the way up and just plant wheat. That'll be more than enough to make us enough bread to last us the year. I'll let you ride on the tractor while I get the wood. I'll be back for you. Tractor's got a flat tire. We're gonna have to deal with that. Next piece. Okay, slid that 2x4 over. It was actually just half an inch, maybe an inch. So I just slid it over a little bit, screwed it back down again, moved the little pieces I shaved off of the insulation over. Now I just got to measure for my MDF and be good. Okay, this is where you got to be careful with old buildings and why you measure twice and cut once. Look at that, 34.5 will get me right about in the middle of this cross beam. 34.5, still pretty good, right in the middle. 34.5, getting shallow. 34.5 ain't gonna cut it. So this side needs to be 35.5. So I gotta make a little bizarre cut for this thing. So to do that sloping cut, this side is going to be towards the front. So I'll put a little arrow here so I remember, and make this one 35.5 right here. But then we know it's 34.5 just a little ways down. But I don't feel like making a bunch of complicated cuts. So I'm just going to go to 35 here, because that's still on our board. And then as I make my way down, I'm going to go a little shallower to 34.5.
Now, for most of you, you're going to know how to cut wood, you're going to know how to make marks, and you're going to know how to cut a slope on a piece of plywood. I'm showing this part for those folks who don't know how to do that yet and who are learning, because just as I learned, my dad taught me, I'm going to help others and try to teach them as well. Pass on the knowledge that I have so the next generation can figure it out as well.
And then what I'm going to do is blend this right in, because I was taking too deep of an angle. So I'm going to blend that in there, and it's going to make the circular saw do some acrobatics. I won't make you listen to the circular saw this time. All right, got my piece cut. And there it is. Ain't she purty? What I wasn't happy about is down on this end. Sorry. This was all the way on the edge, and I wouldn't have had anything to put that next one up to. So I had to slide it down a little bit. I don't know, it shut off. Did you get that? You want to go 35, 35, 21.5, 21.25, and this up here is 20.75. All right, we got our MDF cut. Now we're just going to put it in. I'm trying to get the angle. I'm sorry, this looks goofy as heck. I'm trying to get the angle in. This back wall, we are not going to insulate, because all of that is coming off, and that is all going to be glass, well, plastic. It's all going to be plastic. We're going to put a door right behind where I am. I'm going to frame that out. So I'm not going to mess with that right now. That's just going to stay as is. But I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. We got a bunch of insulation up in here now. And I moved our rose bushes over to a more protected area where they're going to get a little more sun during the day. Yay. All right, and with that, I do have to look around and see what kind of lumber I have on hand to frame out this back wall. But I want to just express my appreciation for you guys tuning in. Thank you very much. If you're subscribed and you're following along on this journey, I hope I'm imparting some knowledge from what I've learned to help you start off your homestead as well. So thanks again for visiting Homestead Gains. We look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.